Hi everyone, this is Ruben, Zcoin's community and communications manager, and it's been a really exciting week actually. We got listed on TDAX, we got listed on BX Thailand with all Thai baht pairing. We also won the Binance competition, and we'll be announcing the winner soon. And yes, I know. We haven't had news from Binance just yet. It appears that I think they're kind of occupied doing other stuff, but definitely we've been confirmed the winners, and we'll be definitely listed on Binance. It's just a matter of time. And we've really had a good price increase with the announcement of the Znodes. And today, although I have lots of stuff that I want to cover, I think in particular this particular video, I just want to focus on common questions about Znodes, because there's a lot of questions about it, and I just want to sort of run through the basic stuff for those of you. This is maybe your first masternode coin. So first of all, what you need is you need to get yourself 1,000 Zcoin. Right now the price is about 23 US dollars, so that's about 23 times about 22,000 US dollars to get one Z node. And unfortunately you can't let's say like you can't have like a fraction, like you can't say you have 1,500, that means you get 1.5 nodes. No, it's in fixed 1,000 components. So that means 1,000 Zcoin gets you one node, 2,000 Zcoin gets you 2 nodes. So you can't have a fraction of that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that you would need and prepare in advance, a lot of people have been asking this question, is what kind of specifications do you require to run a Znode? Well, it's actually quite low. Basically you can actually run it off your own computer, but the problem is that you kind of need 24/7. It needs to be up 24/7 and have a good internet connection. You don't want it to be dropping out and changing IP all the time. So for most of us with residential lines, or we don't have like a server lying around, simply hiring a VPS, which costs about $2.50, $5, probably get the $5 ones, as long as there's like 1 gig of RAM, 1 CPU. You see this one's also like this is 1 gigabyte of RAM, 1 CPU, is all around that range. There's DigitalOcean, there's Linode, there's MyVoucher, there's Amazon instances, Alibaba Cloud instances. You can host this on any of this, and they cost typically about $5 US a month, and it isn't expensive. So this is basically all you need. I wouldn't, some people have been asking, can I run it off a Raspberry Pi? Probably not. I mean, as you probably note, syncing the wallet on a desktop does take a few hours, and it's gonna take much longer with a Raspberry Pi because of the zero coin verification. So I wouldn't recommend. It might work, but I would recommend just avoiding the hassle and just sticking with a $5 a month node, and it's cheap and stuff. So that's the second thing that you need. The disk space that you require, actually right now, like this, the entire blockchain is only about a few hundred megabytes. You don't really need 20 gigabytes or so. It's just more for future proofing. So anything that has a few gigs of hard disk space should do for the moment. And usually, typically, your $5 ones would come with like 20 gigs or so, and that should be sufficient for what that you need. Okay. Right now, okay, when is Znodes going to be launched? Znodes is going to be launched probably either right at the end of November or the first week of December. Just give us a give and take. I don't want to list an exact time. We're already testing. It looks to be working perfectly. We're doing a few more tests before we open the testnet to everyone else. And then everyone can give it a try and get testnet funds and play around and get started to learning how to set up your own Znodes. I was really excited when I first set up my first masternode coin, and I think you'll find this quite interesting. Now, of course, there will be some of you who will be like, I don't want to deal with all this technical stuff. I just want someone to host it for me. We're working with some providers right now that would be able to provide this service to you at a slightly higher cost. Maybe instead of $5, it might be $10 a month. but in return they'll keep it updated, they keep it up. They configure everything for you and just forget and pay them the money every month. So that will be another option for those of you who are less savvy or so. So where is this? I guess the next question is, how much returns are you getting from your Znodes? We have a detailed spec on this. If you take a look, actually you can avoid the November one. It's more likely to be, because most likely your payouts will start in December. Now, people are a bit confused about this figure and what does it all mean. What it means is that currently there's about like 3.4 million coins-ish of Zcoin. And what I mean by 50% is that I'm estimating 1.7 million of these coins will be locked up in Znodes. That means 1.7 million of these coins, people will be hosting Znodes on them. This is just a rough estimation. It may be more, it may be less. And we're basing this figure off other coins that host masternodes, and typically is about 40 to 60 or even 70% of the supply being locked up in this type of masternodes. So this is just a rough figure, all right? And so this one we did two projections, one at 50% and one at 60%. So if you notice, we are taking 30% of the block reward, which is equivalent to 15 Zcoin every block, and this will be given to masternode providers. And when you host a Znode, all right, so okay, masternode or Znode, right, and basically it's not like you're gonna get a share of that 15 Zcoin. You actually will be in the queue, and as long as your masternode is online, it'll take every few days you get a certain payout from the block. So make sure that your Znode is online all the time, which is why we recommend a VPS. And one of the another common questions is that what happens if it drops out? It's offline for maybe like few minutes or so. Do I lose my place in the queue? You don't. I think that's sort of a grace period. So as long as it's not more than 1 hour-ish, you should still retain your position in the queue. But if it's down for 2 hours, you have to restart back in the queue, and that which would affect your earnings. So it's very important to have a reliable VPS to host this Znode. Okay, so what are these numbers here? So these are estimates based on 50% of supply being locked up, and that's so remember I said 1.7 million coins, so that's why I said 1,735 times 1,000 is roughly 1.7 million coins. And you can see as the supply, because new coins are being released every day or so, so you can see this number increasing, assuming that this 50% of supply remains. That means people are creating more and more nodes with their earnings. So you see profitability goes down as the time goes by. But for the first year, assuming that it keeps at 50%, you will be earning more than 30% for the first year, and it will stop taper off maybe 20% and then 15%. But it's definitely very, very good returns. And on top of that, it's worth noting that this is an assumption. If there are less nodes, you're going to get more. You're going to get a higher ROI. If there's more nodes, you're going to get less. But, it should be around 20 to 30%. Very good return on your Znodes or so. That's really important. Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, where is this money coming from, right? So this chart actually illustrates how the block reward was divided before Znodes and how it will look like after Znodes. So previously, currently, how the mining is done is that 20% of the block goes to the founders' wallets, or the founders' wallets, which comprises of Permin, the seed investors, and our team wallet, which funds all our activities. So it was a 20% sort of tax, and it was meant to last for 4 years, of which 1 year has already elapsed. And after 4 years, this reward completely disappears and the whole block reward goes to 100% to the miners. Now with Znodes, there has to be a certain profit, or a certain part of the block reward that goes towards the Znode providers, and we have given 30% of the block reward, which is equivalent to 15 Zcoin, 15 Zcoin from every block. So where does this 15 Zcoin come from? We had to take from the miners a bit, but from the seed investors, they have graciously, you know, they didn't have to do it, but they did it. They halved what they were supposed to get. So Roger Ver, Tim Lee, even Poramin, the founder of Zcoin, and the other anonymous investor, they each agreed to take a 50% cut. It's basically saying, instead of getting 2 Zcoin per block, I'm going to get 1 Zcoin per block. They agreed to take this 1 Zcoin block cut so that they can bring it to give it to the Znodes. Of course, the miners also contribute some, and to make sure that the team remains sufficiently funded in the foreseeable future, we are increasing the team bounty from 4% of the block to 6%. But in the end, it's still a major reduction from the founders' reward, and we really thank the seed investors and Poramin for agreeing to basically half their reward. So that's a really important thing to take a note of. Now, okay, so if you take a look right now, so this will be after Znode, 56% to miners. The Znodes will have 30%. The bounty wallet will get 6%. The seed funders, which is actually 3 people, we should get 6%, so 2% each. And Poramin, our lead dev and co-founder, gets 2%. And again, after 4 years, this entire part disappears, and we are now trying to determine where should this proportion or percentage go. Should it go 100% back to the miners? Should it go 50-50 to the nodes and miners, or all to the nodes? If you have any suggestions, let us know. It's a bit hard to tell how the economy will be like in 3 years time. So we hope to lock this down in the next 1 week or so before we launch it. But this we need feedback on this. What should happen to this? Definitely this part will disappear, as in the founders rewards will go to 0%. But how should we distribute this? Should it go to the nodes? Should it go to the miners? And we kind of have to see where it is right now, but it'll be good to have some benchmark on that at the moment. Okay, now, okay, so what other questions do you guys have? Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying, like, are my funds safe on Znodes? Because you're putting the 1,000 Zcoin out there. Is it safe? What happens if that node gets hacked? Now, this system is actually pretty safe, because all your Zcoins, the 1,000 Zcoins that you create, are still on your own desktop wallet or whatever wallet you're holding it on. And that means that if you hack the node, you're going to get nothing. All you can do is take it offline, and that's it. You really can't do much with it. So how this is achieved is you take 1,000 Zcoin, you put it into a specific address which you generate on your own local wallet, and then from that address you generate a special private key for the masternode. And this masternode private key is not the same as your actual private key that allows you to spend and stuff. This private key only acts as an identifier that this node corresponds to this particular deposit, and that's all that private key does. So even if you give it out to somebody, or like a masternode provider, it can't really do much with it. All he can do is bring it offline. I think that's basically all. So you don't have to worry so much. Your 1,000 Zcoin stays in your local wallet. You can even close your local wallet, and it's fine, because you don't have to keep your wallet online for the Znode to register your deposit. It's totally separate. All it needs is just an identifier that you continue to hold this 1000 Zcoin. Another sort of, a lot of people talk about ROI, which I guess return on investment, which is kind of, well, okay, I guess it's correct. But the fact is that the 1000 Zcoin, you don't lose it at all. It's just a deposit and you can pull it out at any time. A good way to sort of imagine, to visualize this Znodes is that it's kind of like a fixed deposit where, let's say I put a certain amount of money, as long as the money is there, I continue to earn interest. I can pull it out at any time, but I just stop getting the interest, right? Yeah. Now it's actually even better than a fixed deposit, because a fixed deposit typically, every 1 month, right? So let's say if you terminate half a month, you don't get the rewards for the whole month, right? But for Znodes, the moment you pull out the money, you can pull out your money immediately, but it's just your payments just stop at that point that you pull out. It doesn't have to be a complete month or so. All you need to do is that you take the money out, you transfer to a different address. Once that figure drops below 1000, you lose your Znode status and you just stop getting money from it. And you don't lose any money whatsoever. You just stop getting the payments. So yeah, don't worry. There's no lockup. There might be a psychological one where people say, I already set up these Znodes, I want to continue earning rewards. So, even if the price goes down a little bit, I'm not going to, sell 1 Zcoin or 10 Zcoin and break my 1000, right? So that also adds as a sort of economic stability, but there's no technical reason or nothing that's going to stop you from actually pulling out the money whenever you want. So don't think about it as being locked. These funds can be converted at any time. It's not even converted, just use it directly. You just lose your Znode status, close your node, and that's it. How often do you get your Znode payouts? I think I did cover this a little bit earlier. Basically, it's on the queue system. You get it once every few days. They of course dependent on how many nodes there are. The more people in the queue, let's say you have like 10,000 nodes, you have to wait a few more days, because it's going to be like taking turns. And also, as long as you keep it online, you will eventually fall into queue to get that reward. When can I test? Should be in the next few days. We're building binary so that you can test this all out. And yeah, so a very common question: can I share a Znode? With other masternode providers, there have been services whereby, you pull your founders out, say, I don't have enough money to make buy 1000 Zcoin. Can I pool with other people to make a Znode? And technically, yes, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with everyone chipping in, and then this one guy creates a Znode for you. But the drawback of that is that you're trusting that guy that's hosting your Znode not to run off with the money, because he has to have all that 1000 in one wallet address, and he has to control that wallet address to create that Znode. So it's not ideal in the sense that you kind of have to trust that person not to run away with your money. So I would always recommend getting your own Znode so that you don't have to worry about this stuff. But for those of you, you have a few trusted friends, you're okay with this guy that's not going to run off with your money, yes, there's nothing wrong of pulling your funds together to get the Znode. And hopefully, as the ecosystem gets a bit more mature, there'll be some trusted providers for this. There are ways to maybe make this more trustless, but for the moment, not quite yet. So I would recommend, if you can afford it, do get the 1000 Zcoin by yourself. Okay, so this is like the whole how to do it, technical, more on the economic side. Now, what's you're probably wondering, okay, so what does Znodes do in your network right now? If you take a look, like those people who have upgraded to 13.3.2 may have noticed that actually we don't have that many nodes out there. There's not many people hosting a full copy of the blockchain, because it's expensive, and most people can't be bothered, right? While once Znodes comes into play, there'll be a lot more nodes online. Let's say if we follow our estimation straight away. You know, there'll be like 1,700 to 1,800 ish nodes that will be online to help seed this this sort of the data to everybody. So you know, syncing should be much more reliable no matter where you are. And you know, the Zcoin transactions, you're not too worried about them being processed. Now right now, the Znodes act as any other node. It probably has better specs than other nodes, but for the moment they aren't doing anything special right yet. This is going to be in the next iteration where we might delegate functions, the Zcoin functions, to it, so that we can make sure there's I guess it's more of like, once we delegate the functions, then they can be light nodes which don't process Zcoin transactions, so they can have very low specs to host it, while you have the incentivized master nodes which need a bit more power. So that's the general idea. There are some other plans, I wouldn't spoil it, but basically having this master node layer allows us to have another layer to build decentralized services on top of it. So we're really excited about that. We wouldn't spoil the surprise of this. Anything else? Well, I think probably that's all that I have in my mind at the moment. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. You know, I may make another video about Znodes and everything. But I think this covers the basic questions about Znodes. And yes, I hope that's helpful. Okay, there's another quick few updates I want to give. I'll probably cover this more in the later update. We've engaged a marketing company to help us out with generating content, social media thing, and so that's quite exciting. It would take off. Hopefully, you know, bring our marketing to the next level. It's not going to be what was it, NagaDB, because it was just taking too much time in my previous update. It was just a lot of back and forth thing. They didn't quite understand the thing, so we were trying this smaller company, and we're seeing how it goes. You might notice the tweets and the social media looks a bit different, a different style. It takes time to get used to it. But if you have any comments, like you find like, I don't like this style, I like it, I love this new image that you guys are pushing, let us know in the comments, or you can talk to us on Discord and stuff like that. Oh yes, I know a lot of you are waiting for the Binance lucky draw. I'm going to do that really soon. I've already pruned all the duplicates. I pruned all the invalid entries out, so I'm ready to do the lucky draw probably sometime this weekend. And hopefully, well, I think I've been thinking about it. We probably definitely have to review the name or part of the email of the winner, so that the winner knows that they've won. I hope that it's not too much of a privacy concern, but yeah, we want to make sure that we're not accused that we rigged this stuff. So we need to publicly announce the winners. So yes, that's it. Actually, there's a lot of other stuff I want to cover, but I really just want to keep this video about Znodes. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Thanks so much then.